You're back with Bek and Zach. We've been talking about the pathway to peace, and we've been on a bit of a journey. And if you have missed some of them, it's well worth going back because they do build on each other. But we talked about humility, absolute honesty. We talked about the importance of grief and mourning and sharing in one another's pain. We talked about gentleness and meekness and the importance of strength mixed with restraint. We talked about letting go of control and our own desires or perceptions of the best thing for someone. And we talked about having a deep desire for a better way, one that isn't just what's right for me, but what's right for all of humanity and all of nature and all that exists together. And I'm looking forward to the next topic. Zach, my friend, has been sharing some incredible experiences that he's had around the world in some significantly painful places, as well as just the pain of our own journeys and what it means to be human. And we're finding that some of the things that we want are a little bit upside down and surprising, but I'm looking forward to what you have for us next. So take us away, Zach.
Yeah. So we, like you said, we're 4 layers deep, or 4 sections of the mountain that we've.
Yeah. Are we deep or are we high?
I don't know which way.
We're on a journey.
In some ways, the journey has been down, all the way, like of a kind of a death of ourselves. And
sure. It's felt that way to me.
Yeah.
Sitting and listening and reflecting. Yeah.
Be honest, humble yourself, cry, process your pain, and let go of control and all that stuff. And then you get down to the bottom where you start to ache for the brokenness of the world and the ache for a better way, a more beautiful way.
Yeah.
And it's right there that it shifts direction. And it's so ridiculous that it's, again, kind of baffling. Like you would never think someone going down on that journey would just take the turn that they take. But most people, if they skip any of these layers or these steps, you do just crash. You just keep going down, and you see people just dive bomb into bitterness, into brokenness, into resentment.
Cynicism.
Yeah, everything. And but there's a really abrupt shift from here, which is the marker of whether you've done all 4 before. It's so clear. You're going, and when you start to hunger and thirst for righteousness or for a more beautiful way, you launch up into abundant love poured out for no reason into other people's lives. And that is just baffling to anyone who has not been through that. It's almost foolish and absurd. And what are you doing? Because it's not pouring out love for your cause and your thing that's on your heart. It's actually a like almost aimless love for everyone in every direction without even a thought of efficiency or productivity or anything. You just love. And the word for this that this comes from is a Hebrew word. I keep talking about Hebrew because that's the Old Testament, the Torah, and the framework that had led to through the beginning of the Bible to the New Testament. But and Jesus came from that, and I find a lot of this teaching is all coming from him. Is this word hesed? I know I don't say it properly, hesed, or I don't know how to say it, but it's this profound word that is not really in any other language. We try to use English words, and there's in the New Testament, they try to use Greek words, but no language really has the fullness of what this word means. But the most basic definition I could find that helps at least unpack it is when you have a right to expect nothing from me, I just give you everything. It's like this absurd thing. We don't have a name for that. We're like, what was that? like if I just gave you all my possessions, I moved out of my house, my family, me and my kids and my wife go homeless for no reason. You're just a stranger. It's like that kind of ridiculous, lavish, extravagant love for no reason, with no strings attached. There's no like agenda attached to it. It's just here. And
So is that what you're asking us all to do?
I'm not asking anyone to do anything, but
Sure.
there's and it can't be done by being asked or told to do it.
Of course.
It has to just overflow and pour out of you. And the word that's used in when the blessings are said by Jesus is blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. And that's interesting, but I do believe that's just the limitations of Greek language. They didn't have a word for hesed, because in other times where it says, Jesus says, go away and think about this. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. And it's the only time Jesus ever tells anyone to go away and think about something. So it might be worth going away and thinking about
it. Yeah.
But what is he quoting? He's quoting Micah in the Old Testament. And in the Hebrew, it says, I desire hesed, not sacrifice. So the difference is, hesed is, I just give you everything and I don't even know who you are. And here, just have it all. A ridiculous, loving gesture for no reason. Mercy is, you actually deserve for me to punch you in the face because you just punched me in the face, but I'm not going to. It's a different thing. It's very different than here's all of me, here's my whole life, here's everything for no reason. Mercy is like, I deserve to pay you back, but I'm not going to. But so you can see why that would be a challenging language with it. But I would say I think it's quite right to apply hesed there, because there's actually a psalm in the Bible that says, blessed are the hesed, the people who do extravagant love, for they will be shown extravagant love. And I think that is a way richer word to unpack in this journey up the mountain. Is you will be so set free from your pride and your falseness and your performance in the first step. You're going to be free from your pain because you're going to have cried it through and gotten healing. You don't have the pain as much anymore. You're going to have no more are you trying to control, and you've become content. And then you start to really ache for the world to be more beautiful, to find a better, more beautiful way. And what emerges then from you is this new source of crazy generosity and love for no reason. And it's actually wherever you find that in our lives is actually where all the life is, all the joy is, those people and places where love is just given without a measurement. Nobody's keeping track of how much they gave. And that's really the true, I know we don't have perfect mothers, but if we think of a perfect mother, that's it. Yeah. She doesn't care how much she's given to her kids. She'll give more. She wishes she could give more again. And if her kids ever tried to pay her back, she'd be so offended and hurt. Like, what are you talking about? I didn't give this so that I would get something back. I just love you. I don't ever want anything back, Yeah. And that shows, like, at the core of our engagement with relationships and all that, whenever there's hesed, it is one of the most beautiful and transformative things that we can ever encounter. Yeah. When someone does something and they didn't even have to. I mean, we actually find it agonizing. And I find it a lot. My Aussie friends, I think it's not just Aussies, but if I buy my friend coffee, they'll go, oh, I'll get you next time. Or like, oh, you didn't have to.
Right.
And it's like, I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's like, but it's like the thought is in the world, like usually is, well, whatever you give to me, I have to give you back. And and so they're already feeling the pressure that, like, okay, now I'm going to have to buy the next one, or, and this, but it's like, cause it's really unsettling to just receive love or a gift with no strings attached. Yeah. And no expectation of payback. Yeah. But when you do, it changes everything. And one of the key ways that this is lived out, and probably the most important for anyone listening, is forgiveness. I say this everywhere I go in the world. You cannot have peace if you cannot forgive. And I tell them, you don't have to forgive. I'm not telling you have to, but you just can't have the full peace in your life if you can't forgive. And
I think it's good to talk about this because for anyone who's part of a faith tradition or values that, I'd say there's a lot of faith practices where, and certainly Christianity, where forgiveness is like an element to religion or virtue. But I've met so many people that maybe don't have that teaching in their life, that forgiveness is actually a wild concept. Like, you know the word. You're on the playground. I'm sorry, I forgive you. But like actual forgiveness. For someone that might be listening and going, like, I know it, but I don't understand it. Or for the person that's so deeply hurt and it feels like forgiveness means excusing someone. Can you just describe what you mean when you say forgiveness?
So I'll start with what bitterness and unforgiveness is, in that we know what it is, but it's when you understand what it does to you, it helps understand what forgiveness is. For unforgiveness and bitterness is like a little cancer on my arm. It's just a little spot. And it's like, well, I hate that person and will never forgive them. But everyone else, like, I'm great. I'm fine. And I'm still functioning and all of that. But the problem is, we all know what the problem is. It's cancer. It doesn't stay as a little spot there, even though it was just that little moment with that workmate. Just a little, like, they offended me in that one little moment. But if I don't forgive that quickly, it starts growing, and then it brings tension into our whole team, and then it starts growing, and it starts getting into my home life because I'm thinking about this person, and everything starts stacking up on top of it. And I was like that for a long time. I had so much bitterness for years, and I just could not forgive. Not that I couldn't, I just didn't want to. And I watched it take over my life to where innocent friends, I would just push them away. I'd be rude to them. I had no control over this cancer taking over all my relationships. And what's amazing in forgiveness is that there is a cure for that cancer. And there is a way to cleanse your whole life of the bitterness that is seeping into, and the cynicism, all the stuff that like develops out of that cancer can be actually eradicated. But so I always talk about that. It's like, we think that forgiveness is for the other person. Like, but I can't forgive them because they need to pay. It's like, no. Like, that's separate. You don't even need that other person. A lot of people are also waiting for an apology, which, I mean, if you're waiting for an apology from some people in the world, you're waiting for, that's your life. You're gone. And that cancer is going to grow. But forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person, nothing to do with them apologizing. That person could be dead, and you can forgive them. And it's not for the other person. You think it's for them, like it's going to relieve them or anything, but it's actually for you. It's actually, you need to forgive so that you can be free, and that person doesn't live rent-free in your brain and constantly control and haunt you and dictate everything, and the pain just keeps going over and over. It's like, no, actually, I release this. But when we say release, I love Desmond Tutu's definition of forgiveness. I think it is the most helpful one that I have found. And when I teach this to militants and people who have been through massacres and cannibalism and bombings and everything, I go, I lay down my right to revenge. And it's really carefully worded. I let go of my right, which, what does that mean? It's right.
Yeah.
They bombed my church.
Right.
I am right. I have a right to revenge, but I let it go. And that is it doesn't mean that what they did was right. Doesn't mean that it's no problem. No worries. Like what you just did to me, you killed my family. Like, no, it's totally wrong. But, and it doesn't mean that you trust them. And it doesn't mean everything's all rosy.
Yeah.
It just means I'm not going to get revenge.
Yeah.
I'm not going to rise up and try to do it, make it pay back. Yeah. And it's like, that is so important because I always talk about it in the peace camps. I say, what happens? How many of you have brothers and sisters? And I say, okay, well, what happens when your brother knocks you or bumps into you? Well, you're going to knock into or bump into me or punch me just a little bit harder.
Right.
And he's going to punch you a little bit harder. And then back and forth in the back of the car. What has been accomplished in this exchange? Now, both of us are in extreme pain and crying our eyes out. And it's an endless cycle of more and more and more until someone dies or until something interrupts it. And that cycle of revenge and unforgiveness is always going to lead to everyone suffering more and more and more and more. It's guaranteed. You think, no, I'm going to get him back and it's over. And it's like, no, you're going to get him back and you're going to get it right back at you. And like somebody has to be the one to say, it stops with me.
Yeah. Someone
has to be the one to say, I lay down my right to revenge so that we both don't destroy each other and get lost in this. And that's such a powerful moment. But again, it's not saying what they did was right. It's not saying forgiveness is not reconciliation.
Right.
Totally different things.
Right.
They're not even related in some ways. You do need to forgive to have peace and for the potential of reconciliation. But reconciliation is like needs to be separated from the whole conversation.
Right.
And I can forgive that person without it. It's not a means to an end that we're going to be all friends again or that. No, I just need to forgive it. I need to lay down the right to revenge so I'm free and I don't have this cancer growing.
Yeah.
What happens after is further down this path of peace.
Yeah.
The potential of reconciliation is a totally different, almost mystical process but forgiveness anyone can do. And the thing that's being said is do it, show mercy and hesed, and you will receive it.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about forgiveness is such a key element. That was a great explanation. But I'm thinking about the picture that you also painted about this word hesed, mercy, extravagant love. What was a moment when you were in one of those peacemaking settings that you saw someone make a choice for extravagant love in the room? And what difference did that make?
I think I'd actually, I'd love to highlight a friend of mine who lives in Malaysia, and he used to be a CEO of a huge company, made tens of millions of dollars, did whatever he wanted with his life, lived as wild as he wanted, and almost lost his marriage, and almost led him to suicide because he was just, everything became meaningless as he pursued his own self, and he had a dramatic story of total transformation that led him completely out of that world, sold everything he had and gave it away, and began a journey of humbling himself, being honest. And he said there was a whole season where he volunteered just to clean the toilets at church because he just needed it to bring himself back to a place of humanity and humility. And even, I think if I could get him here, he would say he misses that year because it was so amazing, so rewarding to go from the heights of the corporate world to like cleaning toilets, and the joy he found in doing something for others. And from there, he was on this same journey that we're talking about. But when he hit this point where he was aching, he saw all the stateless and refugee children in Malaysia. There's over 10 million. I don't know all the statistics, but there's millions and millions and millions of refugees and children. They, particularly stateless children, they have no documents, they have no rights, they don't exist. Anyone can do anything to them. That the police don't protect them, nothing, because they don't exist by any government standards. So they're the most vulnerable and poor people on the planet. And he found out about them and was so moved with compassion. Him and his wife decided to begin a school and just to offer education to these kids. But more than education, he wanted to offer them a presence, a place for them to cry, these things that we're talking about, and a place of gentleness. Yeah. Because they all are facing abuse and violence in their homes and everything. And yet he's offering them these things we just mentioned. And I can't describe to you how beautiful that is, to see his ache and hunger for justice and for this wrong that's happening to all these children shift into an extravagant giving away of his life. Him and his wife, and all the teachers are not paid, and they are there. They are somehow, I don't know how they live, but somehow they live by the donations and kind will of others. It says, show hesed, and you'll be shown hesed. And somehow they're shown this extravagant love back to live and keep going. And I forget the number of schools that are running now, but he's done school after school after school after school. And the kids are the most amazing human beings I've ever met in my life. I hope I could be like them when I grow up, because they are everything about their life we would pity. And yet they are the most alive human beings. They're beyond anywhere I've been in their own love for people and love for God. And they are full of gratitude and hope, even though on every measurement, there is no hope for their life. Every measurement. Well, by the time they finish that school, there's no way to have a career, no way to do anything other than a very, very brutal existence. And yet they are filled with this abundant life that makes me jealous of them. And it's all, I think, coming from this extravagant love poured out for no reason. He doesn't get anything back. He doesn't even get a paycheck. He doesn't take $1 from any of the donations. He doesn't even ask for money. And he wouldn't even want his name out there, because it's just pure-hearted, abundant love poured out. And it's led him to become a leader overseeing all the refugees and stateless people over the country. And it's so interesting that in his meekness, his gentleness, and his abundant love, it's being recognized now by more and more, and he is being given power. Yeah. Because they can see he won't be corrupted by it. And he doesn't take a paycheck for that either. Right. Because he's saying, no, he's doing it for the children. And that is what will produce the more beautiful way, more beautiful world, that everyone's wants justice. Everyone in the world will say, this is wrong. And they might protest to the government. They might do all these things. And yet this guy's not doing that. He's abundantly poured his life out. Yeah. And thousands of kids are getting transformed in love and in joy. And there's no one there to record it. There's no Facebook page or YouTube video. It's just pure love being poured out. And it's actually what's transforming that situation and bringing peace. I could talk about that for days, but I think of him when and those kids when I think about hesed, because when I went there and taught them, the kids were so moved that I came and loved them. They gave me and my team all their favorite toys. Oh gosh. And we're like, no, no, like what? And like they just gave the best thing they had to us. And you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
But it's as they've received that extravagant love, they give that extravagant love. And the world that we could have if we were willing to take these upside down steps up this mountain is actually what everyone's complaining about and, cynical about and bitter about, that the world's not that. But it's these people who have gone past that into pouring themselves out are the ones that are the one like teaching us, come this way. Don't go down that path of bitterness and resentment, and don't hold back. Like, share your tears, but share your time, share everything. Just pour out for no reason.
There's something in the back of my mind. You said, blessed are the merciful, or the hesed, for they will receive.
Yeah.
And you talked about how even with your friends, like, oh, I'll get you next time. I think a real blockage for me and probably others is that ability to receive. Like, I'm happy to pour out.
Yeah.
I find because it really hard to receive. So like, and I mean, you never fully know your heart, but like genuinely in pure heartedness, not because of what it gets me or because it gives me status or like, what's stopping us from being able to receive, and how key is the give and take in this process?
Yeah, I think that is massive. And in a sense, it's hard to express, but when I go to these places with these people, one of the greatest things that I could do is just accept their hospitality. Let them take care of me. Let them be the guide. Let them be the leader. When we do these things around the world, you're not going to see anywhere online of me doing like the Zach's Peace Camp or Peace event, because I felt really strongly to always let the locals be the ones who lead, who name, who vet the people that come, pick the venue, everything, and they it's their event. And letting them be, and letting myself just receive from them the gifts, the love that they have. Receiving the love is what it does. Is it's actually that third step of letting go of control, but particularly it's letting go of the position. Because if I'm the one giving, I'm always a little bit above. It's a power position to be the host or the source or the patron or whatever, and to let them be that is actually the vital key to a breakthrough. And you see that in the journey of Jesus with the people around him. We think of Jesus, and people say, sometimes I saw one person say, well, Jesus said, feed the poor or whatever. And it's like, actually, he didn't. He never said that. And it's really important to figure out why. The reason is the Pharisees, those religious leaders who were dominating people with their vision, trying to find justice through trying to be extremely legalistic and to impress God, to be extremely right. So then God will be so amazed by our rightness that he will then make things right. And what they would do is they would feed the poor as a part of their diligence and the things. But it was out the back door, and you give the food out to them, but you never eat with them. Totally different what Jesus was doing. He was eating with the poor, eating with the broken, with the prostitutes, with the sinners, not the ex-prostitutes, not the ex-sinners. He was in there and he ate with them, and that is what made him, they wanted to kill him. Because what that means in the Middle East is that you're my brother and I hold nothing against you. To eat together is an act of peace. And to say, there's nothing between us and we're peers, like we're one. And that is a very political statement that he's making to the and religious statement. He's saying basically their sins are forgiven and I'm with them. I have no issue with you. And that radically was opposed by the Pharisees, who were like, how can you eat with those people? No, and like they were happy to feed them and give, but not to receive or be with them. And when Jesus sends out his disciples 2 by 2, he gives them very clear instructions. Don't take anything extra, no extra sandals, no extra clothes, nothing. And it doesn't say that they had miraculous sandals that didn't break or anything. I'm sure they broke all over. And what does that do when he sets them up like that? He's sending them so that they will be vulnerable, and they need the community to help them and to give to them. They need someone to offer their house. They need someone to offer to fix that for free. And like that is forcing his own disciples to be on the receiving end. And he says, accept anything they offer you. and eat whatever food they put in front of you, like, which is like, what? Like anything they give you, receive it. And that is so humbling, because you don't even know who it is it's going to be feeding you or any of that. And that allows that community to be the ones that are the host, and they're comfortable and they know how to deal with a guest and do all that. They don't know how to deal with you if you're above them. You're an alien, literally. You're like here in their community, and they're like, but a lot of attempts at peacemaking or development in the world has always been this. We got all the money, all this. We don't need you at all as a community. We just are going to give you everything, and we don't even need to listen to you, because we've got enough money to figure it all out, and we'll just plant this thing in your village, and we've seen the destruction of that. But I think in the same way, all this discussion we have, there's something beautiful about being able to receive from the ones that you're in relationship with, and let them serve you, and not always be in your comfort zone, which might be to be the one serving. A lot of people want to do charity and throw stuff at poor people, but very few people want to sit down and like let the poor people, let these children give you gifts. I mean, they might give you a lot more than just a teddy bear. They might actually break the lies you believe about yourself and about your life and your suffering. And
so what's a way that, for those of us who are growing and want to grow, how can we practice hesed in our lives?
Yeah. I will say one of them so clear, you got to forgive, but we'll
absolutely.
Put that to the side and anyone can do that. You can do it right now. But the other is, I'll give an example of how simple hesed can be. Because it sounds so extravagant. It's like your whole life. But I think even in the smallest little bits of our day, hesed is what really brings light. I had a friend, his wife, it was her birthday, and one of her friends called, who she hadn't talked to in a long time, but she said, oh, hey, I just wanted to call and catch up because it's been a long time, and just wondered what's happening in your life and, what's going on. And she said, well, it's my birthday today. And and then her friend's like, oh, no, I'm so sorry. I forgot. I didn't realize. And then she thought about it, and she went, no, actually, it means so much more. Because you just called me for no reason. Because it wasn't the obligatory birthday call and all that. It was actually like, wow, you just thought of me. That's a gift. Like that means more to us in relationship. When someone does something for no reason, they just thought of you. Sometimes that is enough. Just text someone and say, hey, just thought of you. Hope you're doing okay. And like that is the economy of hesed all around us. It doesn't have to be everything in my life given away, but as we do that, there's a joy. Every time you do it, it releases a joy of like, wow, that was great. And I didn't have to do it, and I did, and then and so I would say my challenge to everyone for a practical application of this is to do something amazing, something extremely generous and amazing for someone else, and don't tell anyone, including that person, and keep it a secret for because that's the sign of whether you're really doing it for no reason.
Yeah.
So will you do it and never tell anyone?
Yeah.
Never need credit, never need to tell anyone. And this is the story, and this is what happened. Like, can you do it and just keep it to yourself? Yeah. And that will be a stepping stone. In fact, you could do that every day. Find someone you're going to do something for, and just don't tell anyone. And I think that will develop that what hesed feels like, and you will start to see it play out more in your life.
I love it. Very practical step again that we can take today. And I like that we did go down. We're talking about the mountain, we're talking about the path, but the path did go down a little bit treacherously and difficulty. But I like that we're on the way up, and I'm looking forward to the next step. Thanks so much, Zach.